At Shan, fellow citizens, we are in Tanshibandu. The progress of the country is in the hands of the people. That's what it means. Today, I'm making it short. Just want to comment on some interesting news today. I'll just get to it. It's our minister, Mr. Bowman Lusambo. For those of you who still call him honorable, kudos to you, but it's Mr. Bowman Lusambo. And here it is. Let's just look at Saka Times. Breaking news, I guess. Lusambo vows to avenge President Lungu's treatment by UPND cadres in Monze. Okay. Let's see. Lusaka Province Minister and ruling Patriotic Front, Kobe Province Mobilization Chairperson Bowman Lusambo has said that PF members on the Copper Belt will make it impossible for the opposition United Party for National Development to conduct any business in the province, as a reaction to the alleged harassment that President Lungu was subjected to when he went to Monze. Mr. Lusambo said that the UPND leadership has drawn a line and they have clearly chosen their path. What we feel provide. So if such people in government, it's chalo ndoroka abantu. Nangudafisoswa ubamufunishe kwizoyo kanshi. Umuntu bamufunishe kwi. I know how limunanikane. He used to be in the MMD. He used to be a serious cadre in the MMD, and somehow he found his foothold in the PF, just like a lot of rotten people do. He is Bowman Lusambo, 44 years old, I believe. This your country. Sometimes you kind of wonder what kind of mind says this. You are telling us that every member of the UPND is from Southern Province? This is foolishness. This is foolishness of the highest order. Foolishness of the highest order. That mask he's wearing there. I thought for a second I thought his neck was broken or something, and he had a cast around his neck. So, oh my goodness! But the man is loony. He is loony. This guy is loony. It's just laughable that you'd have somebody like this in government and you just don't see anything wrong. How are you going to feel about naming your kids after the president and the vice president? The worst president ever in the history of Zambia. Worse than the colonial masters. The colonial masters they were developing Zambia. At least they were developing Zambia. And they were providing services. They treated us as 1/3 of a person, but they were delivering services. This is the worst president in the history of Zambia. You go ahead and name your twins after them. Yeah. Mr. Lusambo said that PF will simply reciprocate the treatment they are subjecting their leader to and carry it out to good measure on the Copper Belt. Carry out to good measure. This is the poverty, the worst poverty of mind. Would you think your president is your president? I mean, sure, Zambia, in my opinion, Zambia is better, is as good as not having a president right now. But to think that the president of the, well, the reason for that, truly the reason for that, this kind of thinking explains that. Explains, partly exactly explains why that is. When you are fools in government who think that the president is only the president for their party. The president of Zambia is the president for the PF. And the truth is, let's cut to the chase here. The truth is that true? In many respects, the president himself is the one who, carries around that attitude. He carries around the attitude that he's the president of the PF, not of Zambia. Wherever he goes, I don't know if the time will ever come in Zambia. I don't want to speak to this because where we are headed is unless a significant transformation occurs in Zambia, where we are headed is a very dark place. But regardless, the point I wanted to make was, will there ever be a time in Zambia when a president is elected and he stops campaigning and gets to business to work for the people? Not wherever he goes, it's this party symbol. Wherever he goes, is a party symbol. Wherever he goes, is a party symbol. You're in your first 3 months, it's a party symbol. Your first year, it's party symbol wherever you go. It's all politics. Not even, it's stupid politics through and through. You are the one who sends the message that you are the president of the PF. You are not the president of Zambia. And is there any credence to that? Yes. Only the PF is benefiting from it, from our country's resources. The theft is in the PF. All of it. So yeah, you are the president of the PF. That's how these fools like these, that's what these fools like this pick up on. And, you are the president of Zambia. The president, the people of Zambia, the citizens of Zambia, in their state of being disgruntled, they have the right to express themselves in any way that they feel. You don't have the right to incite, to retaliate. You don't have the right of retaliation. No. It's like somebody blows a whistle. You can't retaliate. You don't have the right to retaliate against citizens that express themselves. It's their right. It's their right. It's their given freedom. It's a freedom of expression. If they did it peacefully to send a message to Mr. Lungu, who are you? Who are you, Mr. Lusambo, to come in and say we are going to retaliate on a cover build and punish every member of the UPND? I'm not exactly hyped about the UPND, but I am really disturbed when such foolishness prevails and goes. It cannot go unchecked. This foolishness cannot go unchecked. And Chilubi Member of Parliament Mulenga Fube has urged the opposition UPND to engage in civilized politics. Mr. Fube said that the unruly conduct of UPND cadres when President Edgar Lungu visited Monze on Saturday must be condemned. Unruly? You don't know. You don't know what democracy is. Mr. Mulenga Fuwe, you don't know what democracy is. You don't know the democracies. You don't talk about things. If you don't know what democracy is, don't talk about democracy. Okay? Do not talk about democracy. People, if you don't know, if you do you think you live, do you think you live in a democratic country? Because if this you believe that is, if you believe what you're saying to be true, then you don't live in a democratic country. There are many aspects of our Zambian life or governance that certainly substantiates that assertion that we don't live in a democracy. Recent of which was the arrest of Chela Tukuta, the deployment of police in Lusaka to put down the youth protests last month, the 22nd of May. I'm sorry, the 22nd of June. All those say it's not a democracy. So, looking at it from that viewpoint, maybe you're right. Civilized politics. Look who's talking. You're talking about civilized politics. Mr. Fube said that the unruly conduct of the UPND cadres when President Edgar Lungu visited Monze on Saturday must be condemned. Condemned by who? Depends on who you're talking to. So, Mr. Fube's remarks come in the wake of the hostile treatment of President Lungu by some UPND youths in Monze last Saturday, adding that such conduct, if allowed to continue, can cause anarchy and disrupt the peace that the country has enjoyed over the years. Some things we can fail to comment on it. Some things just close the mind. It clogs the mind as to the thinking of the people called leaders. There's only one solution. Please, let's clean house, please. It's nauseating. Let's clean house. Get rid of people who think like this. Just get rid of them. And once you get rid of them, don't replace them with the same people. With the same people that think like this. You need to get rid of people that think this way. And once you do this, let's not do what we've done time and time again. About 5 times in the history of Zambia, we continue to do the same thing. Let's get rid of people who think like this way. Let's get rid of people who think this way. And when we get rid of them, please, let's not replace them with the people that think this way. Because this is annoying. It's sometimes if this is if this in any way, if this kind of thinking that goes into this kind of political posturing, to use an understatement, if this in any way speaks to the Zambian collective, we have a long way to go, people. We have a long way to go. Because these things, there are always people like this in the administration that we keep putting in power over and over again. So let's get rid of these people and let's not put the people of the same caliber back. Okay, let's see here. All right. And vision ambassadors have described as barbaric the behavior of UPND cadres in Mose. National Coordinator Michelle Kombe said that such an attitude is intolerable in a democratic dispensation. Yeah. Please give us a break. Fellow citizens, just give us a break, dude. Mr. Kombe, you're Mr. Kombe, or you? Mr. Kombe also said that President Edgar Lungu deserves to freely visit any part of the country, as he is a Republican president. What substance is in this statement? Is there any scintilla of substance in this statement? This statement rings of such mediocrity. Is actually difficult to comment on. It just rings of such mediocrity. Mr. Kombe also said that the President Edgar Lungu deserves to freely visit any part of the country, as he is Republican president. It's almost like a child talking. It's like a child talking. Oh, kuti ayo kuli konse. President kuti ayo kuli konse. It's almost like a child talking. You know. Would you? He deserves to move freely in any part of the country, as he is the Republican president. He deserves to move freely. Think about what he's saying and the mediocrity in such a statement. As he is the Republican president, he deserves to move freely in any part of the country. Just because, here comes a comment. Just because you are the Republican president does not mean that you should be welcome. You can move freely, but you don't have to be welcome. People have the right to objection. You can move anywhere you want. They don't have to harm you. They're not going to harm you. They did not intend to harm you. You can go there. You are free to go there. Those people did not say, you can't come here, or we are going to stop you when you come here. No, you can go there. But they are free to express themselves. That doesn't mean we are stopping you from coming here. No, you can go anywhere, wherever you want. You can go wherever you want. But it is their freedom to express, because you are there. Because you are there in person. Then the people have that brief as it may be, they have direct access to you to express, send a message to you. Nothing wrong with that on their behalf, on their part. Nothing wrong with that on their part. So you are the Republican president, Mr. Kombe, the Republican president is free to go anywhere in the country. Wherever he goes in the country, there are citizens. And wherever there are citizens and he goes there, they are free to express themselves in the manner that they choose. As long as they're not causing injury to anybody. They are not causing injury to anybody. They are free to express themselves. Excuse me, I need to sneeze. Oh, you have to sneeze in a mask these days, so. That's okay. So, you can go anywhere you want. So this statement is bereft of substance. It's like a child talking. It's crazy. But anyway, As my comment, below is the full statement, Boma and Lusambo's. Below is the full statement, Boma and Lusambo's full. What's this? Below is the full statement. Below is the full statement, Boma and Lusambo's full statement. Oh, that's a mistake here. Okay. Below is Boma and Lusambo's full statement. Okay, that's what it is. So, by Boma and Lusambo. As we celebrate our heroes and unity days, it is important that we recognize our national heroes, those that have gone before us and those that are still living. Tell us about them. One of our nation's true heroes living with us today is our Republican President, His Excellency, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Really, dude? He's a true hero because he was duly elected by the majority Zambians to preside over national affairs, and in doing so, he has been a source of inspiration to millions of our citizens. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, dude. Fellow citizens, seriously, does a person become a hero because you elect him president? Is there anything to be said? But how many times has Mr. Lungu addressed the nation? I mean, I'm talking about a presidential address. If you know what I mean. You know what a presidential address is? I come to the television set and I look you in the eye. Says, fellow citizens, I have something important that I thought I would bring to your attention. I wanted to address a number of issues that have come up in the last month. 1, the issue of freedom of speech. 2, regulations of COVID-19. 3, government programs concerning your youth. Fellow citizens, I understand what is going on. You know, a presidential address, you see it when you know it. You know it when you see it, I'm sorry. You know, the man has never come on TV to address the nation and you feel like you have a leader. Zambians have never felt like they have a leader with Mr. Lungu in office. We felt like we had a leader when Sada was there. Sure. A president needs to face the nation. A president has it's not just that a responsibility, it's a duty. That when there is a situation, you address the nation. When people are insecure, when people are fearful, when people are crying out for some consolation, when people are desperate, when people are living in the worst fears, such as someone is gassing people and the people found dead in a very bizarre way, and people are scared. The entire country almost comes to a standstill. What is going on? That is when you rise to the occasion as the leader of a nation. You look them in the eye on national television and say, fellow citizens, I know what you're going through. And I want to tell you that the government, not my government, not the PF government, I want to tell you that the government is doing everything that we can to stop whoever is responsible for this terrorism. To assure you, my fellow citizens, the government is taking the following steps. to bring this terrorism to a halt and to apprehend whoever is responsible. I am encouraged to inform you that as I speak, we have 5 people being held in police custody in connection with this terrorism. And I assure you that as of tomorrow, we are going to increase police surveillance in your neighborhoods. We want you to feel safe. We want you to feel secure. These men and women in uniform are there to protect you. Please welcome them in your communities. They are there for you. We do not want you to live in fear, and everybody who puts any other who jeopardizes the safety of any other citizens will face the law to its maximum extent. You talk to people like that. I'm not that good at speaking, but I'm giving an example what a head of state is supposed to do. He was supposed to rise to the occasion when people are most fearful. You are the source of their strength. You have never done it. You are the source of the people's strength. If anybody has to motivate people, you have to motivate people. You have to inspire people. People have to feel we are not alone. And all the people have failed throughout that entire ordeal was that they were alone. They didn't even trust the police. The police catches somebody. Up to now, they don't know the answers. You caught people, and they were freed. They just went to court and they freed them. You got some chemicals. You picked up chemicals. Apparently, what they were using to gas people, and you never told people what those things were. So, a hero? No, sorry. We can't give you that one. It doesn't matter if you are duly elected by a majority of Zambians. Majority of Zambians, Zambians make mistakes every time they select a leader. They make mistakes. The mistakes of Zambian people does not elevate you to the status of a hero. It does not, by any means. A source of inspiration. I just gave you an example there. You have not inspired anybody. You have not. Zambians are the most uninspired people on the planet right now. Some of the most uninspired people. Some of the most demoralized people are Zambians, are my fellow citizens. We are the most demoralized people on the planet. Some of the most demoralized people on the planet. It's us. So, let's not go there. It is therefore regrettable that the opposition UPND elected to disrespect the head of state by portraying behavior that is uncalled for when he visited Monde and other districts. Who have you been talking to? Define disrespectful. That's my question to you. Our colleagues in the UPND ought to realize that President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is a president for all Zambians and holds the highest public office in the land, and he deserves respect. Choke it up your own throat. He's the president of all Zambians, and yet you are the same person who's saying the UPND are not welcome on the copper belt because they disrespected the president who is PF. So the UPND are not welcome. You are the same person who's saying that. You are saying the president is the president for all Zambians. You can't even think over your own words, By behaving in such an Kauthimana, the UPND leadership has drawn a line and they have clearly chosen their path. As Copper Belt Province Mobilization Chairperson, I wish to announce that our members of the Copper Belt, on the Copper Belt, meaning PF members on the Copper Belt, will make it impossible. And you just said he's the president for all Zambians. Will make it impossible for UPND to conduct any business in the province. This is one man that went to Southern Province. One man. Not as the president of the PF. He went there as the president of Zambia. Unless I'm mistaken. He went there as the president of Zambia. And people there opted to express themselves. Whether they are UPND or not, they are citizens. They are citizens expressing themselves. This is one man who went over there. I don't care if he's the president or not. He's one man. His citizenship is no more important than mine. This is what we need to think about this when we talk about these things. The president's citizenship in Zambia is no more important than any other citizenship. We all have just one citizenship. The fact that he's in a high office doesn't make his citizenship any more significant than mine. He says, so congratulations, Jack Mwimbu. Congratulations, Hakainde Ichilima. And congratulations, the UPND. You have just drawn your own lines. There is a leader for you. That's a leader for you guys. There's a leader for you guys. Guys, don't kick these fools out. You know, I hate, you know, sometimes you just say the way, sometimes you just say it. You know, just to kick the fools out. And that may be the easy part. And when we put others in, let's not put fools in, guys. That is the most important thing, because that's what we do most of the time. We kick fools out of office, then we replace them with other fools that come cloaked in sheep's clothing. They come in sheep's clothing, and we put them in there. Let's look under the sheep's clothing. Let's look under anybody's clothing to find out exactly who is it we are dealing with before we put them in office. Because they come so many times, every time we have an election, they come in sheep's clothing and we put them there. They want the incumbent. The people in the incumbent government have lost their sheep's clothing now. So we know who they truly are. They are the people that are come in sheep's clothing. Let's look under there and see, you know. But anyway, guys, just wanted to make a quick comment on Mr. Bowman Lusambo, our leader, your leader. And there you have it. All right. We are in Tanshibantu. Remember, progress is in the hands of the people. So all these issues, analyzing these issues and getting into the mindset and the caliber of our leaders, it's important. It's some of the things we have to, remind ourselves all the time, every time. You know, we have to take a good look at ourselves as a collective, the Zambians. You know, some of these people that we put in there, and the ones that become even more active, the most foolish become the most dominant, become the most the most visible, and they seem to hold so much sway around. Boss, have you heard about the minister of Northern Province, the minister of the Copper Belt Province? It's Bowman Lusambo, and he's the most useless of people. But right now, he's parading around with influence on the copper belt. Right now, he's saying it. It's going to impact what happens on the copper belt. It's like is like the pit bull. It's like the big dog that the president calls and to take care of something. Yes. Just named 2 puppies after the master. Anyway, we're in touch, man, guys. Fellow citizens, I'll see you in the next in my next comment. All right. Take care of yourselves. God bless Zambia.